My name is Serena Vale, 42 years old. The restaurant is the kind of place where even the air feels expensive, where waiters glide instead of walk and the napkins get refolded if you dare stand up to use the restroom. Crisp white tablecloths glow beneath crystal chandeliers. Low conversations hum around us like we're all sharing the same secret. And the wine list looks like it costs more than my car insurance and half my soul combined. Across from me, Sloane drags her manicured fingers slowly along the linen, tracing little invisible loops while she works up to whatever performance this is going to be. Her nails are perfect ovals, painted a pale, glossy pink that screams weekly salon visits and time to spare. I glance down at my own hands. My nails are short, practical, trimmed close. A veterinarian's hands. The skin along my knuckles is faintly rough from soap and disinfectant, the kind of hands that hold frightened animals and clean up the mess afterward. Preston shifts beside her, adjusting his Rolex for the third time in 5 minutes. The metal face catches the chandelier's light in calculated flashes, as if it's trying to remind everyone at the table exactly how much it cost. I find myself wondering, not for the first time, if he practiced that movement in the mirror. Serena. Sloane's voice is soft and careful, the way it used to sound when she needed something. Lunch money, gas money, or that time she called me sobbing about creditors, and I wired her $50,000 without even stopping to breathe. You know Preston and I have been planning our wedding. I nod. I don't bother to fill the silence. Under the table, my phone rests in my lap. Screen dark, weight familiar. Dean texted me before I left the house. 2 simple words. Remember everything. Preston leans forward, elbows on the table like we're old friends, and he's about to pitch a promising investment. We found the most incredible venue in Napa. Vineyard views, sunset ceremony, very exclusive, very private. It's exactly what Sloane deserves. It sounds beautiful, I say, because that part is probably true. Sloane's eyes take on that glossy shine I've known since we were kids, the look she wore at Mom's bedroom door when she wanted just one more thing. That same expression funded her first apartment, wiped out her first credit card, and kept her out of bankruptcy the last time she swore she'd changed. It is beautiful, she breathes. It's everything we've dreamed about since we were girls. I wait. I've lived long enough to know that whenever my sister talks about dreams, the bill arrives shortly afterward, usually in my name. The thing is, Preston says, and his tone hardens just a fraction. That polished boardroom cadence he uses when he wants to sound important. The venue requires a substantial deposit up front. And with the current market conditions, liquidating certain assets right now would put us at a significant disadvantage. He talks like a man who binges financial news channels at 2 a.m. to drown out the sound of his own panic. I also happen to know his investment firm is clinging to life, that the tailored suit might be floating on high-interest credit, but I let him finish his speech. What Preston means, Sloane cuts in, reaching across the table for my hand, is that we need help. Family helping family, that's all. There it is. We need $75,000, Preston says bluntly, as if he's ordering an extra appetizer. The number drops into the space between us like a stone into a still lake. $75,000. I think about Mom's house, our house, before I ever signed a single paper. The 4-bedroom bungalow where we grew up, with the squeaky stair third from the top and the faded rose bushes in the front yard. The house that became mine, officially, 1 month ago. 1 month since we buried Mom. 1 month since I held her hand while her chest rose and fell for the last time. 1 month since Sloane swept into the hospital, 20 minutes too late, mascara flawless, blaming traffic. From selling Mom's house, I say quietly. Preston clears his throat. Well, yes, the equity is just sitting there. This is an opportunity to turn it into something meaningful, a legacy. Sloane squeezes my hand, her palm soft and moisturized against my dry skin. You got the whole house, Serena. It's only fair that you share some of that value with family. Fair. The word drags up a lifetime of memories. 16 years old, standing in front of a mirror in a prom dress I'd saved for, my corsage wilting slowly in the fridge. Mom at her second job, Sloane burning with fever, and me on the phone telling my date I couldn't make it. I spent that night pressing cool cloths to my baby sister's forehead, whispering stories while she whimpered in her sleep. 23. Canceling a trip with friends because Sloane needed someone to co-sign her first lease. 28. Draining my savings to cover her credit card debt while she promised this was the last time. 35. Lying to Dean about why $5,000 evaporated from our account in a single afternoon. 41. Signing a check for $50,000 while Sloane sobbed about bankruptcy and bad choices and how she would finally get it together. Mom's voice threads through those memories, weak from chemo but steady. Serena, you've given enough. When will it be enough? It's only fair, Preston repeats like a closing argument. You got the whole house. What he doesn't mention is what I heard through the baby monitor 6 months ago. His voice and Sloane's drifting up the staircase while Mom slept upstairs, sedated with morphine. We could knock down this wall, Preston had said in the living room, footsteps echoing on the hardwood. Open up the space, bigger kitchen, more appealing to buyers. And we'll get rid of that ugly fireplace, Sloane had added, laughing. Marble, something modern. The place will be unrecognizable. They were planning renovations to my mother's house while she was dying just one floor above them. I'd sat in the hallway outside her room, listening through the monitor and biting the inside of my cheek until it bled. That night, I turned on my phone's recorder and started keeping proof. Mom would have wanted this for me, Sloane says now, and her eyes shine with perfect photogenic tears that somehow don't smudge her makeup. She wanted to see me happy. She said it. My phone vibrates against my thigh. Dean's name flashes on the screen. A new message. Stay strong. I take a slow breath in, then out. I can offer $15,000, I say. My voice surprises me. It's calm, steady, like I'm reading results off a chart, as a wedding gift. Preston laughs once, sharp and disbelieving. That doesn't even cover the flowers. For the briefest second, Sloane's expression cracks. The tears disappear, and something cold and sharp flickers in her gaze, like I've just slammed a door she was sure would stay open forever. Then the softness slides back into place. Serena, please, she murmurs. We're family. You know how hard things have been. After everything I've gone through, after losing Mom. $15,000, I repeat. That's my final offer. Take it or leave it. Silence stretches between us. A waiter glides past with a tray of glasses that catch the light, and someone at a nearby table laughs at a joke I'll never hear. Life goes on around us, oblivious to the fault line opening under this table. You're being selfish, Sloane whispers. After everything I've been through, after everything I've lost. I stand, smooth the front of my jacket. For a moment I just look at her, my baby sister, the girl I tucked into bed, the teenager I bailed out of her first mess, the woman who has turned guilt into an art form. Take it or leave it, I say again. I pull a few bills from my wallet and leave them beside my untouched water glass. 3 20s. More than enough for the privilege of sitting here and finally saying no. Then I walk out into the bright afternoon, the sun making me squint, the quiet of the street feeling almost unreal after the velvet hush of the restaurant. My phone is already in my hand, already open to the recordings folder. Mom's house, the living room, their voices, proof. Dean was right. It's time to remember everything. Dean finds it on a Wednesday night. I'm sitting at the kitchen table with a mug of tea that's gone cold, Mom's photo album open in front of me. The pages smell faintly like dust and old perfume. There's a picture of Sloane at 7 years old, gap-toothed, hair and messy pigtails, covered in frosting from a birthday cupcake, the kind of photo that used to soften me instantly. Now, all it does is make something in my chest twist. I keep trying to locate the exact moment everything changed, when my baby sister became someone I can't recognize. Serena. Dean's voice cuts through the quiet. He stands in the doorway, laptop tucked under his arm, wearing what I call his accountant face, that focused, clinical expression he gets when numbers reveal a story someone hoped would stay hidden. You need to see this. He sets the laptop in front of me and nudges it closer. My stomach tightens before I even look. On the screen is a background check report. Preston Vance's financial history, laid out in unforgiving detail. Gambling debts. $53,000 owed to an offshore casino. Another $18,000 to someone named Big Tommy, an alias that practically screams broken kneecaps. But Dean isn't done. Scroll. Cryptocurrency losses. Failed investments in digital coins with names like Moonshot and Rocket Fuel. $85,000 gone. Every line item is another crack in the polished facade Preston wore so confidently at that restaurant. And then Dean clicks to the next tab. There's a court filing. Preston's own father threatening to have him declared financially incompetent. He's broke, Serena, Dean says quietly, completely broke and desperate. I stare at the screen. The Rolex, the designer suit, the speech about liquidating assets. The casual way he said 75,000 like he was asking me to pass the salt. All of it borrowed, all of it performative, all of it fake. There's more. Dean clicks again. Text messages. A whole thread between Sloane and Preston dated 2 weeks before the restaurant ambush. Preston, the sister won't just give us the money. We need leverage. Sloane, I know Serena. Guilt works. She's been taking care of me since I was born. Preston, then use it. Play the dead mom card. Use family obligation. Whatever works. Sloane, I'll cry. That always gets her. I read them twice. 3 times. The words don't change. Dean sets a hand over mine. I'm sorry. Before I can respond, my phone rings. Aunt Patricia, Mom's older sister, the woman who hugged me at the funeral and told me Mom was proud of me. I answer because I still haven't learned to protect myself from hope. Hi, Aunt Patry. Don't you hi me. Her voice is sharp enough to cut glass. I just got off the phone with Sloane. She's devastated, Serena. Absolutely devastated. I close the photo album. Devastated about what? About your greed, Patricia spits. About how you're hoarding everything your mother left behind. About how you manipulated her while she was sick. My breath catches. That's not what happened. She told me everything, Patricia fires back. How you isolated your mother from the rest of us. How you're refusing to share a single penny of the inheritance. Your mother would be ashamed. Ashamed. A word I've feared my whole life. Patricia, none of that is true. She's your sister, Serena, your baby sister, and you're treating her like a stranger. Then her voice breaks, just enough to twist the knife. I thought you were better than this. She hangs up. The silence left behind is suffocating. Dean is watching me, jaw clenched. She's been calling everyone, I say, the words dry and brittle in my mouth. Hasn't she? He hesitates. Probably. Then gently. Check your Facebook. I don't want to, but I do. 3 cousins have unfriended me. The family group chat has gone strangely quiet. No new messages to me. But when I scroll back, I see them still talking. Sharing photos. Making plans. Without me. Then I see a post from someone I barely know, a second cousin named Jennifer Parker. It's sad when people show their true colors after a tragedy. Family should come first. 42 likes, 16 comments agreeing. My chest tightens, and then I see it. A new review on my veterinary clinic's Facebook page. 1 star, anonymous. Dr. Vale seems caring with animals, but apparently steals from her own family. Makes you wonder what else she's capable of. Dean reads it and mutters a curse he almost never uses. They're destroying me, I whisper. They're trying to, he says, but we're not going to let them. He closes the laptop. The question is what we do about it. His certainty anchors me. A small, steady weight in the middle of a storm. I think about Mom's hospital room. Sloane visiting twice in 6 months. Me sleeping in a chair beside Mom's bed. Reading to her when the pain wouldn't let her rest. Rosa, the hospice nurse with kind eyes, jotting notes about who was there and who wasn't. Everything is blurring together until one sentence forms with clarity. We document everything. Dean nods. Already started. He gestures to his laptop. The texts, the background checks, the restaurant meeting, backed up in 3 places. My phone buzzes again. A voicemail from the family lawyer, Janet Morrison. I put it on speaker. Serena, this is Janet. I received a letter today from an attorney representing your sister. Sloane is threatening to contest the will. My stomach sinks. Of course she is. But I want you to know this is completely baseless, Janet continues. Your mother was of sound mind. I've seen this before. It's a pressure tactic. Don't let it work. After the message ends, I just sit there, breathing, not breathing. They're going to drag this out, I say. Make it as painful as possible. Dean's voice goes cold. Let them try. We have the truth, and the truth leaves a trail. The next morning, I drive to the cemetery. Mom's grave still looks raw, the grass patchy, like the earth hasn't healed yet. I sit beside her headstone, the cold seeping into my jeans. I get it now, I tell her. The house wasn't money. It was protection. You knew Sloane would do this. You knew I'd need something they couldn't take. The wind rustles the trees. A lone bird calls. My phone rings. Janet again. Your mother updated her will 3 months before she died, she says. She told me, my oldest daughter has given everything. My youngest daughter has taken everything. It's time that ended. I close my eyes. Of course Mom knew. She saw everything, even when I thought I was hiding it. I thank Janet. Hang up. Later that day, at the clinic, my partner Sarah walks in with 2 coffees and a look that could kill. "I saw that review," she says. "Already flagged it as false. And I called the partners. We're making a statement supporting you. Your family too, Serena. The good kind." Her voice cracks just slightly on the word family. And for the first time in days, something warm unfurls in my chest. But then my phone chimes. A new notification. Baby shower invitation. Rescinded. With Sloan attending, we just don't want any drama. Sorry. Dean finds me staring at the message that night. He doesn't speak. He just wraps his arms around me, and the dam finally breaks. For the first time since the funeral, I cry. Not out of guilt, not out of confusion, but because I finally see it clearly. This isn't just a disagreement. It's a war. And they're willing to burn everything, including me, to win. 3 days after the baby shower disinvite, Sloan calls. Not texts, calls. I almost let it go to voicemail. But habit, or hope, makes me swipe answer. Her voice hits me immediately. Broken. Breathless. Real tears this time, not the polished kind. "Serena, I'm so sorry." I don't say anything. Silence has become my only real weapon. "I've been so stressed," she rushes on. "About the wedding, about money, about everything. I said terrible things. Preston did too. We just lost ourselves." Lost themselves. Interesting phrasing for 2 people who found the time to smear me to extended family and file legal threats. "I just want to fix this," she whispers. "Can we meet? Just the 4 of us? Preston wants to apologize too." My stomach tightens. "What kind of meeting?" "A dinner," she says quickly. Too quickly. "We found a solution that works for everyone. Something fair." There it is. That word again. Fair. Before I can respond, she plays her trump card. The one that always worked. The one that shaped half my childhood and most of my adult life. Mom would want us to at least try, wouldn't she? I close my eyes, and in that vulnerable moment, when grief opens a door instead of closing it, I feel the edges of my resolve fray. "Please," she whispers, "just dinner, tomorrow night at 7. There's this steakhouse Preston knows. It's really nice. Our treat." I hang up without agreeing, but the words linger, sticky and poisonous. Mom would want us to try. Dean is unloading the dishwasher when I tell him. He stops mid-motion. "Serena, no." She sounded genuine, I say weakly. She sounded desperate. "Desperate people set traps," Dean counters. And that call practically had a neon sign blinking trap over it. I try to laugh. It comes out like a cracked whisper. "You don't know that." "Yes," he says flatly. "I do." He grabs his phone, typing fast. "What's the restaurant?" I tell him. He searches, swipes, scrolls, then exhales slowly. Across the county line, 1-party consent. So, Dean says, tapping his screen. "We bring insurance, a phone on record, just in case." The idea makes my chest tighten. That feels wrong. "You know what else feels wrong?" Dean says. "Your sister and her fiancé trying to steal your inheritance." I don't respond. My silence is answer enough. He sets his phone down gently and looks at me. Not angry, not impatient, but with that quiet, immovable loyalty he only shows when he knows I need it most. "We won't use it unless we have to," he says. "But if this goes the way I think it will, you'll be glad we have it." The next day we practice. Yes, practice. Standing in front of the bathroom mirror, Dean throws accusations at me with the emotional detachment of a seasoned prosecutor. "Your mother would be ashamed of you." "No," I say calmly. "She left me the house for a reason." "You're tearing this family apart." I'm honoring her wishes. "You're selfish. I've given enough." Every time my voice wavers, Dean stops, makes me try again. By evening, the exhaustion is bone deep, but the steadiness in my chest feels real for the first time in weeks. When we pull into the steakhouse parking lot the next night, we're 20 minutes early, catching our breath before walking into the lion's den, I guess. The restaurant is dim, elegant, everything polished wood and low lighting. The kind of place where deals happen in shadows, and the waitstaff pretends not to notice. I spot Sloan and Preston immediately, waving from a corner booth, both glowing with the artificial brightness of people trying very hard to look composed. But I also catch something else. 2 men in suits sitting at the bar, watching us walk in, not eating, not drinking, just watching. Their posture is too stiff, too alert. Dean leans slightly toward me. "Lawyers," he whispers. Of course they came armed. We sit. The appetizers arrive almost instantly, already ordered. Calamari, shrimp cocktail, things I didn't choose. We're just so glad you came, Sloane says with a bright, trembling smile. We really want to move forward. Emotions got the best of us, Preston adds, cutting his steak into neat, untouched pieces. We want to propose something fair. That word again. Fair. Funny how their definition always costs me something. Then Preston pulls out papers. Thick ones. Legal ones. He places them beside my plate. Just a simple agreement, he says. A family trust. You transfer the house into it, and we all benefit. I stare down. The words blur. But I catch enough. Quitclaim deed. Trust paperwork. Preston's name in multiple places. His control baked into every clause like poison hidden in sugar. Just sign it, Sloane whispers, grabbing my hand. Her grip is tight, desperate. Make this right, Serena, for all of us. Dean moves, slow, deliberate. He pulls his phone from his jacket and sets it on the table. Screen up. Red recording, dot, glowing like a warning flare. No, he says, not loud, but final. Preston goes white. What is that? Insurance, Dean says. Smile for your lawyers. We glance toward the bar. The suits freeze, then scramble. One drops cash on the counter. Both disappear out the door within seconds. Because they know. Sloane's mask shatters. You recorded us? She snaps, voice slicing the air. Yes, I say, pulling my hand from hers. Just like you tried to ambush me. Preston lunges for the paperwork. Dean is faster. He slides the stack out of reach with a calmness that borders on terrifying. This is coercion, Dean says. And thanks to the security cameras, we have multiple witnesses. Around us, diners stop eating. A woman in pearls raises her phone slightly, pretending not to record. A waiter freezes mid-step. Preston grabs my arm, his fingers dig in. You can't do this. Dean is on his feet in a heartbeat. Between us, a wall of fury and control. Don't touch my wife. The entire restaurant goes silent. Even the kitchen pauses. I meet Sloane's eyes, really meet them, and see nothing familiar left. Not the sister I raised, not the girl with frosting on her face, just a stranger hungry for something she can't earn. My sister died, I say quietly, when she chose greed over love. I gather my things. Dean guides me toward the exit. Behind us, I hear Sloane hissing that this isn't over. Hear Preston babbling excuses to the manager. Hear whispers rising around the room. Outside, the night air is cool and clean. I can breathe again. You did good, Dean murmurs, squeezing my hand. In his pocket, the recording glows red. In my bag, the quitclaim deed rests like a captured weapon. We're halfway to the car when footsteps slam into the pavement behind us. Sloane, mascara streaked, face twisted. This isn't over, she spits. You hear me? It's not over. Preston catches up, reaching for my jacket. Dean blocks him again. I look at Sloane over his shoulder. Calm, clear. You're right, I say. It's not. Then I open the car door. Not yet, but soon. The state bar complaint form sits on my kitchen table like a loaded weapon. Crisp white paper, blank fields waiting for names, dates, details. I've filled out countless medical forms in my career, vaccination logs, surgical charts, medication sheets. But this one feels different. Every sentence I write is a strike. Every paragraph, an act of self-defense. Dean leans over my shoulder as I type the final line into the online submission portal. You're sure about the names? He asks. Positive, I say. Jason Mitchell and Rebecca Hartwell, the two lawyers who sat at the steakhouse bar pretending to drink while waiting to pounce, licensed in this state for 8 and 12 years, respectively. Both old enough to know what coercion looks like. It takes a moment for me to hover over the submit button. My finger hesitates. Mom always wanted peace, I whisper. She hated conflict. Dean puts a gentle hand on my back. What Mom wanted doesn't matter anymore, he says softly. What's right does. I click. The screen refreshes. Case number 2025-4471. I screenshot it, slide it into the growing folder on my desktop titled Evidence. The folder is swollen now. Dozens of files lined up like soldiers waiting to testify. Inside are affidavits from Dr. Harrison documenting Sloane's 3 short visits during Mom's entire hospice care, Rosa the nurse's logs, recording who held Mom's hand at 2 a.m. when she struggled to breathe, Bob the neighbor's account about Preston photographing the property weeks before Mom died, the recording of Sloane and Preston planning renovations while Mom was sedated, screenshots of social media posts, threats, and manipulation, a spreadsheet Dean created, cross-checking Sloane's claims with actual documentation, my war chest, my barricade. My phone rings. Unknown number. Dean gestures for me to answer. We're recording everything now, he reminds me. This is Serena. A voice comes through, deep and smooth, with the kind of practiced authority money breeds. Ms. Vale, this is Richard Vance, Preston's father, the man with the sprawling estate, the private golf club membership, the patriarchal glare that could make CEOs flinch. I'm calling about this unfortunate situation with my son, he says. The misunderstanding between you and Sloan. A misunderstanding? That's certainly a creative word for attempted fraud. He continues, voice clipped. I've been informed that you have a recording of a private conversation. My son believes it was obtained illegally and is being used to threaten him. My fingers tighten around the phone. The recording was made in a one-party consent state, Mr. Vance. I verified that before I walked into the steakhouse. A pause. Something cold slips beneath his tone. Nevertheless, if this recording is shared publicly, or if you continue this campaign against my son, we will be forced to pursue defamation charges. Preston is prepared to take whatever legal action necessary to protect his reputation. His reputation. The same reputation buried under gambling debts, shady crypto deals, and a trust fund he burned through like dry leaves. A laugh escapes me before I can stop it. Sharp, bitter. You mean the reputation he tried to salvage by robbing a grieving daughter? Legal battles are costly, Mr. Vance says stiffly. Drawn out. I have considerable resources at my disposal. The line goes dead. I stare at my phone, not shaking, not panicking, just cold, resolved. He's bluffing, Dean says. That was a scare tactic. Maybe, I murmur, dragging the call into the threat subfolder. But now it's documented. My laptop chimes, email notification. Subject line, thinking of you. Sender, Jennifer Walsh. The name rings a faint bell. I open the message. Serena, I saw Sloane's post yesterday. The one about missing her sister who abandoned her. I can't imagine how hard this must be for her. Losing your mother and then losing you too. She showed me old photos of you two together. She seems so loving. I hope you can find forgiveness in your heart. Family is important. I stare at the email for a long moment. Dean pulls up Jennifer's Instagram on his phone. Sloane follows her. Likes her posts. Commented 3 heart emojis on a picture of her dog. The post Sloane shared yesterday, the childhood photos, has 147 comments. People swooning over her grief, her heartbreak, her strong spirit. I don't even have to look. I know which photos she used. The ones from summers when I braided her hair. Christmas mornings when I bought her pajamas with my grocery store paycheck. Beach trips where I held her hand in waves because she was afraid of being knocked over. She weaponized my love, turned it into propaganda. I close the laptop. We don't respond, I say. My voice sounds hollow. Not publicly. Agreed. Dean is already taking screenshots, but I'm sending this to Janet and to Marcus. As if summoned, the doorbell rings. Marcus, Dean's IT specialist friend, stands there with a hard drive and forensic tools. Let's preserve everything, he says. Chain of custody needs to be airtight if this goes to court. He spends an hour imaging my devices while I sit stiff at the table, trying to breathe. Then another call. Aunt Patricia again. I let it go to voicemail. Serena, I just want to understand, she says, sounding exhausted. Sloane showed me messages where you threatened to ruin her wedding. You said horrible things about Preston. She's devastated. This isn't like you. Please, talk to me. The voicemail ends. She fabricated them, I say, or twisted things I said completely out of context. Dean nods. That's more evidence of a pattern. We'll include it. The day drags into evening. I sit at my desk, drafting emails to my cousins. Not angry rants, not explanations, just facts. Hospice logs, will documentation, dates and times, screenshots. But I don't send them. Janet told me to wait, to let Sloane keep talking while we keep building. Then the clinic calls. My partner, Dr. Sanders. Serena, we received an anonymous complaint through the state board, accusing you of being distracted and making a medication error that endangered a patient. My pulse spikes. That's not true. I know, he says. Your charts are perfect. We checked. But the board has to investigate. Protocol. How long? 2 to 3 weeks. It won't affect your position here, but I wanted you to know. After he hangs up, I sit very still. The room feels too small, too tight. They went after my practice, I whisper, my profession. The one place that never judged me, the place I built with my own hands. Dean crouches beside me. They're getting desperate, he says, and desperate people make mistakes. He taps the evidence folder, and will document every single one. Later, I stand at the fridge, staring at an invitation pinned with a magnet. Sloane's engagement party. My name missing from the guest list. And yet, we both know I'll be there, not as a guest, but something far more dangerous. A reckoning. I tap my phone. The steakhouse recording is queued up. Crystal clear. Ready. Dean pulls into the country club parking lot. Luxury cars glitter under the lights. BMWs. Mercedes. A Tesla that probably costs more than my entire salary. You sure? Dean asks. I look at the entrance, at the glow of chandeliers inside, at the security guard already eyeing us. My voice doesn't shake. I'm sure. We walk toward the doors. 2 martinis at the bar, a public sound system, and a truth I'm done hiding. The moment we reach the country club entrance, a bridesmaid steps in front of me like she's guarding Buckingham Palace. Tall, blonde, sculpted, the kind of woman who looks like she was born wearing a cocktail dress and a glare. You're not welcome here, she says, ice dripping from every syllable. I'm here to show everyone the truth. My voice is calm, unshaken. Her eyes narrow, and she pulls out her phone, texting Preston, obviously. Within seconds, a security guard appears from inside. He looks maybe 25, uncertain, like he's been warned this might happen. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Before I can speak, the country club manager arrives. Silver hair, polished shoes, a suit that fits too well to be bought off the rack. This is a private event, he says stiffly. If you don't leave immediately, we'll have to call the police for trespassing. Dean steps forward, cool and polite, the way only someone fully in control can be. We're here as paying guests, he says. The manager blinks. Excuse me? We'd like to purchase drinks at the bar, Dean continues, pulling out his credit card. That makes us customers, not trespassers. A beat of silence. The manager recalculates. He knows Dean is right. Finally, he nods at the guard. Let them through, but they are not part of the event. Fine by me. We only need something far simpler. Access to the sound system. Inside, the ballroom is exactly Sloane's aesthetic. White roses everywhere, gold accents, a string quartet in the corner, and people who summer in places with names like Nantucket and Sapphire Cove. Preston's father stands near the bar, surrounded by other men in expensive suits, radiating old money arrogance. Sloane's bridesmaids flit around like pastel dragonflies. Nobody notices us slip along the wall. Nobody sees the cable snaking from the sound booth. Nobody sees the phone in my hand. Screen dark, for now. On stage, Preston taps the microphone. The quartet stops playing. Conversations fade. Can I have everyone's attention? He says, voice booming with practiced confidence. Sloane floats to his side, radiant in white, playing beloved fiancé like it's her lifetime role. We want to thank you all for being here tonight, Preston continues. Sloane and I have been overwhelmed by your love and support. I move toward the sound system. Dean blocks me from the crowd's view, shielding my hands as I connect my phone to the auxiliary input. True love, Preston says, voice syrupy enough to rot teeth, means overcoming obstacles, even when others... His gaze sweeps the room dramatically. Try to tear you down out of jealousy or bitterness. Murmurs ripple through the guests. Aunt Patricia dabs her eyes with a tissue. Tonight, he says, hand over his heart, Sloane and I choose forgiveness over resentment. And that's when I press play. The ballroom fills with a voice that is unmistakably his. Just sign the quitclaim deed, Serena. We can have this done in 5 minutes. The room freezes. A few phones lift instinctively, recording. Then Sloane's voice. Just sign it, Serena. Make this right for all of us. Papers rustle in the recording. Preston's tone sharpens. We're offering you a fair deal. Dean's voice cuts in next, low and clear. You brought lawyers to ambush her. A gasp ripples across the ballroom. Someone whispers, oh my God. Another, did they really try to steal her house? The lawyers' hurried footsteps echo in the background of the recording, their voices attempting to retreat. Too late. The entire 2-minute recording plays. Every manipulation, every threat, every lie. When it ends, the silence is thunderous. Preston turns purple. Sloane pales so fast she looks ghostly. Her perfectly curled hair seems to wilt. And then, Preston's father explodes. You lied to us, he roars, pointing at Preston. You told me Serena was unreasonable. You said she was hoarding the inheritance. Dad, you're cut off, the man bellows. Do you hear me? Cut off. And you owe this family $100,000 for the deposits we paid. Guests recoil from them. Someone films openly. A bridesmaid steps back from Sloane as if betrayal is contagious. This recording is illegal, Sloane shrieks, her voice raw. One party consent state, Dean says pleasantly, just loud enough for several people and their cameras to hear. Perfectly legal. Sloane's mask shatters completely. She looks at me like a wild animal cornered. Serena, how could you do this? She screams. You ruined my life. I unplug my phone from the soundboard and face her. No, Sloane, I say, you did that yourself. Then I take Dean's hand and walk toward the exit. Behind us, chaos erupts. Guests shouting. Phone cameras flashing. Preston's father berating his son. Managers rushing around. And Sloane's scream, high and broken, "This isn't over!" A week later, the sold sign goes up outside Mom's house. Red letters, white background. Staked into the lawn like a declaration. Dean carries the last box to the doorway. Mom's photo albums wrapped carefully in bubble wrap. I stand in the empty living room, where her reading chair used to sit by the window. The sun pours through the glass, catching dust motes and golden beams. The hardwood floors echo under my footsteps. Every sound feels like a goodbye. My phone buzzes. Sloane. Voicemail. Dean watches me. You going to listen? I do, because I have nothing left to hide. Her voice fills the room, high and hysterical. Serena, you have to fix this. Preston's family cut us off. The venue canceled the wedding. Everyone knows what you did. Everyone. You destroyed my life. Call me back. We need to talk. We're still sisters. Mom would be disappointed in you. Serena. Serena. Call me. The message ends. The silence afterward is vast, clean, final. Same manipulation, I say softly. Different desperation. You calling her back? Dean asks. I look at the screen. At her name. At the trail of missed calls stretching back 6 weeks. I press delete. The voicemail vanishes. No, I say. She made her choice. I'm making mine. Dean pulls me into a hug. I melt into him. For once, letting myself feel everything I've been holding for decades. Not guilt, just grief. The moving truck idles in the driveway. Dean checks his watch. We should go. Long drive ahead. I take one last look around the house. The room where Mom taught me to braid hair. The corner where Sloane and I built pillow forts. The kitchen where I cooked dinner every night while Mom worked double shifts. Good memories, bad memories. All of them mine. All of them behind me. My phone buzzes one more time. Sloane's number. I don't hesitate. Block contact. Delete thread. Gone. I lock the front door. Drop the key into the realtor's box. The sun is warm on my face as Dean starts the car. Wind carries the promise of someplace new, someplace untouched by grief or manipulation. We drive toward the sunrise, windows down, music playing softly, Dean's hand warm in mine. That night, in our new house, boxes still unopened, I pull out my journal and write by lamplight. Love isn't measured by sacrifice. Mom knew that. She gave me the house not as inheritance, but as a test. I finally passed. Some called me selfish. I call it survival. I close the journal and walk to the window. Mountains rise purple in the distance. No painful memories here, just possibility. Dean steps behind me, arms wrapping around my waist. Happy? He murmurs. I lean back against him, feeling peace tug at the edges of my heart. Getting there, I say. And for the first time in a long, long time, I believe it.